Hi everybody, it is me, Corrie Sommers, again, your local realtor, and today I'm here with Jonathan from Stewart Title. I almost said Jonathan Stewart.
Jonathan Golden.
Yeah, and we're going to be talking about title and title insurance, so stay tuned.
Cool.
So Jonathan, title is a part of a home buying process or home selling process, and I think it's a term that we often throw around, and
Right.
not everyone gets what it is.
Yeah.
And I like to explain to my clients, but I'm always happy when I have a title professional here because you can go into a little more depth.
Right.
So let's first explain what title insurance is, why it's needed, and the types of title insurance.
Got it.
And we'll give everyone some great information and be prepared for their next sell or
Right.
their next buy.
Yep, exactly. So yeah, anytime you buy or sell or refinance, you need title insurance, title and escrow. We're the title company at Stewart Title, so we do that. A couple, why you need it is because it protects you against fraud and any defects in the title. So basically, a quick little summary that I came up with is, when you go buy a used car, right? You got the Carfax report.
Right.
So you have the Carfax report of all the previous owners. That's what the title report is. So it's like a preliminary title report that we issue. And we go back 60 years, check the chain of title to see if anything has been, passed incorrectly, and pay off any mortgages, taxes, and then transfer the title to the new owner, free and clear, no issues.
And sometimes people don't understand how important title is. I actually had a client who the purchase got held up for a year and
Wow.
almost a half because the house had been in the family for over 100 years, but somewhere like 60 or 70 years back, it wasn't transferred over correctly.
Wow.
So all of the current living heirs, and there was like 5 of them in 5 different states, had to be contacted, and all this paperwork had to be
sign off.
It was a huge process. I mean, fortunately for my buyers, I was able to negotiate a lease for that period, which was cheaper than their mortgage, so
Nice.
they loved it. But it definitely, when you're trying to buy a home, the last thing you want to face is a title issue.
Right, and that's why, as soon as you get a listing, you want to open up the title report and we can double check on it, make sure there's no issues.
Okay. Now, how does the title insurance process actually work?
So yeah, you get a listing, right? We open up the title report. We do a search of who the owners are and the previous owners. We issue a tax roll, legal investing. So the legal description is actually the tax assessor description of the property, of where it's located on the maps. Mm-hmm. And then also the deed, right? We got to check to see who's the owner is on title. So that's what you put on the listing contract, on who signs. And we do our digging from there. We have a team that does the typing of the prelim, and it's pretty boring. But to sum it up, it's we check for all the liens attached to the property. So if they have credit liens, IRS liens, mortgages, taxes, we're going to do that search, and so we're going to issue a title report that's going to show up all the issues on the transaction. So it's going to say the address, the owner's name, and then any liens that attach to the property. So mortgages, IRS liens, taxes, it's going to say all that up front, and then we're going to go ahead and clear that once we close, and then transfer it to the new owner.
So I have 2 questions for you based on that, because I know there's someone out there saying, well, what does clear that mean exactly?
Right, so payoff. We escrow orders of demand, and then I actually used to work in the payoff department, so I know this process very well.
Awesome.
You would pay off the loan, or there's private beneficiaries, IRS liens. Those take a little bit longer to issue demands, and you got to have an updated demand that's 30 days current, and we have to pay that off. So we have to clear it, remove it from title, and then transfer the title to the new owner with their taxes, and then their loan, and everything will be under their name instead of the previous owner.
So, correct me if I say anything inaccurately, but all of this is taking place while the home is in the process of being purchased, while escrow, well, if you're in the state of California, escrow. If you're in an attorney state, this is happening while you're under agreement. All these things are happening behind the scenes as the loans are being prepared, as all that process is taking place. This is happening simultaneously. Yes. So once the loan is funded or cash is coming in, if it's all cash, and then everything just boop, 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 done, done. Correct?
Right, exactly. So we're gonna have work with escrow very closely, and communicate with them. We rarely communicate with the buyer.
Right.
So that's why a lot of buyers and sellers don't know what we do.
Right, and that's why I think it's important that we're talking about this today. People, you know, I feel like in the sale of a home or the purchase of a home, you hear you have to get your title. Here's your, you know, copy of title, and everyone's like, oh, okay, great. But then every now and then you've got like engineer types or people that have purchased a number of homes or maybe had an issue in the past, so they're like, okay, this is my title report. What am I looking for? Or they're questioning the basics.
Certain things,
and,
yeah.
And I always like to tell people, if you have any question about title, the best thing to do is call the title company. They have people like Jonathan and who've worked in different aspects of title, or just really there to walk you through any question.
Right.
And we're all human. So
Yes.
you might actually see something that everyone's missed.
Yeah,
Or
and
I might see something that was missed, or Jonathan might see something that was missed. Right?
Exactly. Yeah, we have a team that's been in the business over 30 years, and they review the files very closely. And the title officer has the final say so,
Okay.
and he'll be in communication with Escrow.
And title insurance is there to, now that you guys have taken a look at it, it's there to insure it in case something was missed or...
Yeah, any claims, so any errors that kind of pop up. You know, there's a lot of probate, so properties go into probate, they issue the heirs, and then so to get back to what we were saying, so any disclosed errors that go through probate, we're going to go ahead and, you know, represent the client in court if they come back at the property and there's any issues, or they say they owe, you know, they're owed money from that sale.
Okay.
We're going to protect them.
Great. And then let's go over the type of title.
Yep. Yeah. So there's two types of coverages. If you're, you know, watching, there's lender's coverage, and then there's also the owner's coverage. So the lender's coverage protects the lender, their interest in the property. They're lending money on the property, so they want to have, you know, make sure the title is correct. So there's a lender's policy, and then the owner's policy that we issue as well. That's good for, you know, the life of the property, and pretty much for life. You know, as long as you live, it's going to protect you in court, or, you know, as you sell the property and gets resold. So there's two types of coverage, one for the lenders, one for the owners. And we go back, we do a 60-year search to make sure the title is transferred correctly.
Now, you said something that I'm not sure if everyone caught, so I kind of want to recap that. If, let's say, someone buys the home and now they've sold the home, the title insurance they purchase will protect them if something's brought up 20 years from now,
Yeah,
right?
it's a one-time fee and good for life.
Perfect.
So it's a good deal.
Yeah. So here in California, it's required. Actually, in most states,
Lenders won't lend on the property.
Right. So even though things slip through the cracks because you have people that like just kind of gift it to a family member for $1, that's where things like title really can get screwed up. And you're not necessarily thinking about who's going to purchase it 20 years from now or 40 years from now, but that's where it gets very complicated because, you know, there was just times that those things happened. So even if you are selling to a family member or you're trying to gift it, you still want to go about things the correct way to keep things clean so that your future heirs or the future purchaser or the future seller doesn't run into problems.
Yeah, that's correct.
Yeah. Anything else you want to share with us about title that people should maybe look out for or be aware of?
Yeah, I mean, common issues that I want to discuss common issues that we see. People transfer properties, you know, like say I give you my property, you know, and you do that without title insurance. So you just quick claim a property to like a friend or a relative. When you go to sell, we're going to make sure that, like, you know, that you knew what you were doing back in the day, you know, transferring that property. So we're going to ask for an affidavit of uninsured deed, and that person may not be on the same page as you. They might be upset with you, or they might hold up the transaction. Hey, I don't want to sign this. I want money from the sale. So you got to be careful on who you're giving title to, because if you give title to somebody and they have a... All right, so common issues that we see on title transaction is if, you know, people pass property along through a quitclaim deed, so without title and escrow insurance, which could get pretty hairy. So say I give my property to you, and I quitclaim the property to you without title insurance. That's gonna, you know, when I go to sell, or when you go to sell the property, the title company is gonna reach out to me and say, hey, I need an affidavit of uninsured deed. So make sure that I knew what I was doing to give you the property. But some people, it's like a boyfriend-girlfriend thing, and they break up, and they're not on the same page, or they want money from the sale, and then that could delay the process. So you want to be careful on who you transfer title to. Also, if you transfer title to somebody that has liens or IRS problems, that's going to get attached to the property.
Right. So, and I kind of want to talk about that because I feel like, especially in the early 2000s, when the mortgage industry was just kind of like, oh, it was a wild, wild west, people were given enough information to be dangerous. Like, oh, don't worry, you can quit claim the property to your mother or your this, that, and the other. And that actually creates a cloud on title, correct? Which is what you just described.
Yeah, because maybe they could pass away. And now it's going to go through probate, and it just creates a mess. So you want to be careful.
Yeah, and especially in those relationship things, hey, we get it, but maybe you want to involve title. Maybe you need to, consult someone in title before you do those forms, because it's really easy to complicate a situation because those forms are so readily available. So check with a professional first.
Yeah, we have lots of flyers, lots of information on what the rules and regulations are, laws, and types of way to hold title. So if you have any questions, feel free to reach out to me or Corrie, and we'll help you out.
Yeah, and I'm going to have all of Jonathan's information and Stewart Title's information below. So if you are thinking about selling and you're like, I just want to get to understand title a little better, or you have a specific question because maybe there's something that happened years ago or something that you kind of recall when you purchased the property and you're saying, is this going to be a problem? Great time to figure that out. Great time to have that conversation. If you're getting ready to buy and you're not working with me, you're working with someone else, and you're like, I still don't think I really understand this title situation, just reach out, and either of us would be happy to help you. But of course, beyond the basics, I'm going to say talk to Jonathan, talk to someone in title, really talk to someone to get that full understanding, because they work in it every day, just like I am selling homes every day. We're each an expert in our own fields. So, and we might have some additional information for you, like a handout as well below. So look for that link, and you guys please leave your comments if you have questions. So again, if you have any thoughts or questions, go ahead and put them in the comments below. I'm going to have a little guide for you from Stewart Title, just about some title basics. Check below. And if you haven't subscribed to my YouTube channel yet, please go ahead and do so and click that bell so you get notified with updates. Really hoping that this information is helpful to you. It is still an excellent time to sell a home. It is an excellent time to buy. Interest rates are just holding at an all-time low, which is phenomenal. This is not going to last forever, and a year from now or 2 years from now, you're not going to be able to get the same amount of home. So really think about it. Thank you guys again. See you next week.
Thank you.